Good evening, good evening. Well, I asked you a question yesterday. What is the KD gap? Okay, good evening. My name is Nabila Dieb, and I'm delighted once again to really quickly touch base with you today. And basically, the idea, the question that I asked yesterday was, what is the KD gap? And, I was just trying to see if you can remember a few things. And the KD gap is basically the knowing doing gap. Now, what is this knowing doing gap? What do we mean by the knowing doing gap? Sometimes you see in your surrounding, for example, an overweight person who really wants to become thin. He is intellectually engaged with the idea that he wants to become thin and to lose weight or to release weight, as we call it, and yet he is unable to do so. He is unable to bring that if you like, that desire into a day-to-day thing. Likewise, with smoking, for example, you might find the person is really eager and he wants to quit smoking. Yet, when it comes to implementing, this, he is unable to quit smoking. And every time you see them, they are either eating the high calorie foods or smoking another cigarette or lighting another cigarette after another. Now, why is this? This is called the knowing doing gap because our mind operates on two different levels. There is the conscious mind, that's the mind where intellectually we put in there all kinds of information. And that's the conscious mind, the intellectual, educated mind. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me. But the thing is, our doing, our behavior, our day-to-day activity is not controlled by the intellectual mind. We can think as much as we want that we want to stop. I hope you are doing okay too. Farhan, how are you doing? Thank you for joining me. I'm doing great, and I hope you are doing the same. So basically, why we have people wanting to quit smoking and then they cannot do it, and then people wanting to release weight and they cannot do it, and we have people who want to be, for example, to change their habits to become successful or to become entrepreneurs or to open their businesses, so yet they cannot do it. Why is that? And as I was saying, this is called, hey everyone, this is the knowing doing gap. We need to understand that our mind operates at two completely different levels. Not completely different, but they are different. They operate, so to speak, on two different planes. So let's remember this. Our intellectual mind, our conscious mind, like when you read a book or when you go to school and have some information, or when you attend a webinar and you have a new information, this information is stored in the conscious mind. That's your intellectual, your educated mind. However, your behavior, your doing of things, your implementation, your habits, they are controlled to 96 to 98% at the subconscious level. And the subconscious level is totally deductive. What does it mean, deductive? Deductive means it cannot reject. Whatever we put in the conscious mind, it's going to be implemented in the day-to-day life. Now, what does this mean? Now, the subconscious mind is formed from the age, from since we are born all the way up to age of 7, and whatever has been stored in there, whatever has been if you like, ingrained and instilled in there, is showing in terms of habits, in terms of behaviors, in terms of your day-to-day things. So while intellectually you may want to quit smoking or stop eating high calorie food to lose weight, your subconscious mind is not programmed to give you that. So you say, what is the answer? The answer, if you want to quit smoking, or if you want to lose weight, or if you want to change your habits to become, for example, a morning person, or if you want to change your habits to take and gain the habits of successful people, there is an essential and important step that you need to take. You ask me, what is it? Now, the step that needs to happen is that this information that you gain at the mental, at the intellectual, at the educated mind, it needs to be impressed at the subconscious mind. That information needs to become a desire you so much want to have in your life, that it drives you, that it becomes really, you become so emotionally involved with it that you cannot live anymore without it. So when you become really emotionally involved with the idea of becoming thin, emotionally to the bones, to the bone of bones, and to the cellular level, you become involved with the idea of quitting smoking, or of becoming entrepreneur, or of opening your business, or becoming a 5 a.m. person. That's exactly when the shift is going to happen. We call that shift a paradigm shift, because all our life and is controlled to a very large extent, up to 98%, by these paradigms, the things we learn and we repeat day in, day out. Hey there, Mahfoud. How are you doing? Thank you for joining me. And then thank you for all the love hearts and the love of you guys. I really appreciate it. Ayub, thanks for joining. Saeed, thank you for joining me. So what we are discussing here is, why is it that some people want, for example, to quit smoking and cannot do it? Why some people want to lose weight and cannot do it? And I've just explained that you know our behaviors happens at two levels. We can have ideas in our mind, but as long as we haven't become emotionally involved with the ideas, nothing is gonna happen. Nothing is gonna happen. You will notice that when you become emotionally, I'm doing well, Rauf. How are you doing? When you become emotionally involved with the idea of quitting smoking, when you become emotionally involved with the idea of losing weight, when you become emotionally involved of, let's say, for example, changing your habits that are not serving you, then the moment you start saying, yeah, I want to do it, and you start doing it, there's some discomfort that's gonna happen. Why is it that we feel uncomfortable to change? Why do we have this resistance to change? That's exactly that, because we have paradigms, we have like 98% of what we do on a daily in our daily life is controlled by habits, by 98%. And that's why you feel uncomfortable when you start doing something new, when you start learning something new, when you want to change a habit. It becomes very uncomfortable. Why is that? Because the paradigm is going to fight you. The paradigm is going to tell you, no, 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 go back to the comfortable seat of the daily habits. So my friends out there, if you want to change habits, you need to crash through the terror barrier. You need to crash through the discomfort. There's going to be a phase where you're going to be uncomfortable. You need to stick to your guns, so to speak. You need to stick to what you want to do, and little by little, after 21 days or 30 days, you can start feeling a little bit more comfortable. You start accepting the idea, and little by little you start changing the habits. One final thing, never try to change many habits at the same time. Choose one habit at a time. Choose one habit at a time and change it. And once you are comfortable with it, then you can move to the next habit. Well, I hope this has been helpful to you guys, and see you next week. Bye for now.